Hi, everyone. This is John Grillitz, One Star Diamond Director from Los Angeles, California. I hope everyone's doing well. Thank you for joining me. We're going to do something a little different. I'm going to show a live video of me while I go through some slides with pictures on it. I've been in USANA for 14 years, so I've done a lot of things to find customers, and that's our topic tonight. And I hope the pictures and the content I bring you will help you in your business. So we're going to start with the first slide of my family. For those of you who don't know me, I'm going to go over a brief background. That's my wife, Kim, and that's my daughter, Alyssa, she's 4, and my son, Tyler, who's 2.5. They're my USANA why. My USANA why is to create time freedom so I can spend time the way I see fit. And in that picture, we're on a school trip to the Kids Museum in Pasadena. My wife and I were chaperones. It was a blast. But my career actually started in corporate America. I started in the banking industry, and then I moved on to the NBA, where I worked for them for 7 years. Here are some pictures of my old office, and that's a young John. I worked in Secaucus, New Jersey. That's where the production facility was, the studios, and there were also offices in Manhattan that I would go to as well. And I was a finance manager. I did the finance for a lot of different departments in the NBA. And when I got the job, a lot of my friends said, "Wow, you have a dream job," because I had a lot of perks. I got to go to a lot of basketball games. I got to go to Knicks games, Nets games, Lakers games. Sometimes I would have seats on the floor or close to the court. And here's pictures of me close to Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant, and on the floor of Madison Square Garden with my brother. It was really good. I did like the job, but you know, the perks get old. So over time, I started to realize, wow, I have over $30,000 of loans. My school loan, my credit card loan, my car loan, and I was very motivated to get ahead. So I always had part-time jobs along with my career job. And, my main goal back then was to pay off my loans, and the job I had at the NBA, I mean, it paid okay, but it didn't pay enough. And so I was always looking out for opportunities, and one came up where a friend of mine worked in another department at the NBA. He left to go to Los Angeles to be a sports agent. And then I found out he was building a USANA business part-time. And I watched him grow his business, and I became very interested. And long story short, he became full-time in USANA. I became part-time in USANA, and we started working together. I didn't know anything about this business. Really started from scratch. I mean, I have a finance degree. I was finance manager. I didn't know anything about calling people and communicating with them about an opportunity or products or anything like that. So it took me a while to learn the business. I didn't make a whole lot of money in my first year. I looked at it as USANA University. I knew this was a long-term business, and I knew that I didn't have the skills to start out with, but I could learn it. And one thing I knew was this was a powerful business of residual income and time freedom. I could be my own boss. I could spend time the way I see fit. And that was more attractive to me than anything else. And so I was excited to learn the business. When I came in to my team, we really focused on building a team. We didn't really get into customers, which looking back, I wish I did both, but I mean, it was fine. The one benefit is it took me like a year to really learn how to sponsor, but when I did, once you learn how to sponsor some people, you could do it again and again, and my team grew. But it took a while because I had to learn, how to pick up the phone, and that felt like 100 pounds. And then I had to learn how to greet, qualify, invite. I had to learn how to do a 3-way call and edify my upline, how to ask someone to join my team. So, but I eventually got the hang of it, and USANA has great training. There's a lot of people who provide great information and great training, and I was able to start sponsoring. And In 2005, I became a top 100 sponsor. And eventually, I was able to quit my job in 2006. Now, I had some challenges. So I mentioned I came in just building a team. And without customers, I started to find that people were quitting faster. So if someone came in, if I brought them in just with the business side and they weren't making any money, they would quit quickly. And then when people came in, there were some duplication issues where, maybe someone needed more time to learn how to sponsor people than I did. So I had those challenges in mind, and it wasn't until I went to Asia that I really learned the business. Network marketing is very popular in Asia. I learned some of my advanced skills there, and I took a shot. I took an opportunity. I quit my job as a silver director. My upline had a vision of growing in Asia, and they had a team office. 2 weeks later, after I quit my job, I got on a plane and I went to Malaysia. And you can see I started to do fairly well. That's my team at the Asia Pacific Convention, some of my team members. And then I took that experience and I went to the Philippines, and I lived in the Philippines for a year and a half building USANA. And then I went to Thailand. But it wasn't until I was building in Asia that I really saw the value of customers, because in some of these Asian countries, like the Philippines, for example, some people in corporate only make 300 or 400 US dollars a month. So if they're going on auto order, especially if they're on a 200-point auto order, well, that's like half their salary. So we kind of did a 180 and said, we're going to approach this business differently. We're going to do heavy product training, and we're going to train on getting customers. And what we found was that even though people didn't make a whole lot of money, they were able to hang into USANA long enough to learn. They were making checks. They were able to sell their auto order. They weren't keeping products in inventory, and they were able to learn how to sponsor people, and they were duplicating better. And next thing I know, we were growing a team of platinum pace setters and premier platinum pace setters. So that was an aha moment for me. And I took that experience, I came back to the United States, and we changed the vision of how we were going to grow. We were going to lead with customers. And when you lead with customers, it's easier to learn the business and make a check. When you make a check, you get excited, you can make another check, you start making a part-time income. And that will give the associates some time to learn the business and start sponsoring. And then we found some customers became associates. And so that was exciting, because we found that when a customer became an associate, they loved USANA and the product so much that even if they went through challenges, they stayed as an associate because they love the products. So that's really where my business started to change. I was incorporating both building a team and incorporating a customer base. So we started to lead. This is the time we started to lead with customers. Okay, let's talk about acquiring customers. When I came back from Asia, we were focused on building a customer base, and we all went through our warm market lists again, but this time to generate customer referrals. And I know people have heard of referrals before, but I think a lot of people don't do anything about it. They go home, they don't do anything because they don't know what to say, or they don't know what to do with the referral. So let's talk about that a little bit. I'm coming at this at the perspective that in my first few years, and I know a lot of people are like this when they join USANA, we don't have a whole lot of money to promote. And that's why referrals are so great. They're free. And if done right, can really expand your business. Back in 2004, we didn't have all the exposure with Dr. Oz and all these athletes and USANA being on TV during certain sports events. We just came up with simple scripts, and I attach some references here to the slide, something that really benefited me. If my products are so great, how come I can't sell it? By Kim Klaver. Jeffrey Gitomer wrote a book, Little Red Book of Selling. And then Bob Berg had a great book, Endless Referrals. So we would go through our warm market list again, and each person we would ask for referrals. And it would pretty much just go like this. Hey, Joe, remember that company I work with, USANA Health Sciences? Oh, yeah, I remember. You know, the company's really growing, and we're doing some awesome stuff in the local area. We're helping people lose weight, sharing some nutritional tips, health information. Could you pass me some referrals? Do you know any people who'd like to get their hands on this information? Now, if they said no, that's okay, because I would just say, hey, what's your best email address? Do you mind if I send you some information from time to time? And if someone comes across your desk, can you send it my way? But a lot of times they would say, yeah, I do know someone, my sister or my friend from work. So I take the next step. I say, hey, do you mind just calling them, letting them know I'm going to contact them? Just say I'm with a top company, nutritional company, and you know, I thought of you because you want to lose some weight, and John helps people with that. I'm going to connect you guys. But if for some reason they don't do that, it's fine. I would just call and say, hey, we have a mutual friend in Joe. Do you have 2 minutes? I just want to pass some information along to you. And that's kind of how it went. Sometimes people would buy products in the short term. Sometimes they weren't ready, but I would always continue the relationship. And the email was a great way to do it. And we'll talk about email marketing in a couple of slides. But referrals just opened up a whole new world, because you have these conversations that open up doors. When I came to California to get married, I didn't know a whole lot of people. My wife's from California, but in Southern California, she didn't know too many people. So we were kind of starting from scratch. And referrals just really helped. And I'm going to give you some other tips too. But I just want to show you some recent pictures, some cool pictures. The first picture, my friend Anthony, friend of a friend of a friend, right? He lives in North Hollywood. And then my wife's friend, Amy, she's been one of my solid customers for the last couple of years. And on the bottom right corner, my old roommate referred the Reset to one of his friends, and he had a great experience losing weight. The products you see on the shelf there, that was my friend from high school. He brought USANA to his business partner, and the partner put the products out on the shelf. Now, so things started happening where I was like, wow, I'm learning tons. And I realized that instead of delivering the products to my customer's door, if they're local, I'm just going to go see them, and I'm going to wear a USANA shirt. And I wanted to do that so they could see I'm pretty official, and I could continue building a relationship, but I can get more referrals. And sure enough, conversations would lead to other opportunities. Then what I realized is that wearing this shirt, sometimes I'd have to stop into a bank, a grocery store, the post office, just like the department store. And people started asking me, what's USANA? So I started to come up with scripts on how to answer that question. We're a top nutritional product company. Have you ever seen Dr. Oz? And I would really leverage Dr. Oz because nowadays USANA has made it even easier for us to introduce the products and the business to people, just because of the relationships that we have. And again, the goal is to get the email, and I would just put that in my database. So here's a picture with my kids. I got my USANA shirt on. We go to Jamba Juice every once in a while. They love it. But I think sometimes people think that I don't have any other clothes. But it works so well. You know, I have my business cards ready, and people come up to me and they ask me. I've got like 5 different colors. I got like 10 different USANA shirts. But other than that, I have people that come over my house, and I have USANA all over the house. I've got it in the shower. I've got the optimizers, cell essentials. I've got Rev3s. I've got weight management products. And so one of the photos you see, I'm with a woman on the bottom there. She really helped us out. She was our cleaning lady. And then she would see the USANA products over and over again, ask me about it, and she wound up buying the cell essentials. So the whole point I'm trying to talk to you about is that opportunities happen when you ask for referrals. Now, this is just the first level. The second level, and I call it levels because it got more and more exciting. I started to realize through these conversations, people are athletes. Okay, so, or people are on teams, or they're doing amateur events. So on the top right, I have a friend that was part of a relay race, and this was back in 2013, and that was kind of the genesis for me on approaching athletes. And I sent him a hat, and he introduced USANA to his friends who were competing as well. And next thing I know, not only do I have emails, and you're going to hear me say emails, emails, emails a lot, but I had customers and more exposure. And although I didn't know his friends learned about USANA. All because I created that opportunity because I found out he was running a race. The same with the bottom left. My dad likes to bowl. It never occurred to me until I started to think this way. He said to me, we bowl 4 games. By the 4th game, my team members are conked out. They have no energy left. And I said, Dad, do you think it would benefit if they had some Rev3? So he got a couple cases. Next thing I know, they're drinking Rev3 every week, and I'm sponsoring bowling teams, and I'm sending down Rev3s, and it was great exposure. Like, everyone knows about USANA at the bowling alley in Ohio. It's unbelievable. And so you got friends of friends referrals, but also you can create opportunities. I talked about leaving products out at your house. When you invite people, you got your USANA shirt on, but also being part of events. What are you interested in? Maybe you like book clubs. Maybe you like baseball or basketball or whatever it is. Okay, I love softball, I love baseball. I didn't know a whole lot of people when I first got here, so I joined a church softball team. And I've been on the softball team for 6 years. I have everybody's email. I have customers, so team members who bought products and then introduced their wife or other friend, and I was able to sell products to them as well. Again, when I deliver the products, I have my USANA shirt on, my business card, and new materials. USANA is always coming out with great sales tools, new materials, and the latest is the Celavive, and I've been handing that out. Another local referral I just thought of in Redondo Beach. I have a woman who works at a preschool, and I just deliver her products every month, and every month I give her different materials about USANA's products and just different information. And she's recommended her husband, her daughter to me, other coworkers. The power of referrals is just incredible. And of course, I get the emails, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Then it went to another level, athletic clubs. On the bottom there, I give my upline credit for that one. His mom knew this guy's mom, and he wound up being an associate. And what was cool was he's a coach of a dragon boat team. And there's so many people that do dragon boat, and we sponsor that team, and we have the emails, and we have customers from that opportunity. And on the top right, my wife, her brother, my brother-in-law is serious cyclist in Colorado. And we discussed, I think if it doesn't occur to you, you're not putting together a plan and a process. And ever since the beginning, where I went back through my warm market list and had a process, I start to think this way. And I approached them, and next thing I know, I'm sponsoring the whole cycling team. And and then getting their emails and customers. So then that led to really cool things. Like I started to learn that so-and-so has a friend that knows a doctor. Or, oh, I didn't know my friend knew a physical therapist or a chiropractor. So then we went through a time period where we were approaching businesses. And here's another relationship I have in Los Angeles. The guy in the top right, he was in the Olympics, 1992, Barcelona. And I did a lot of sampling with him. He was a very busy guy. I got a half an hour of his schedule, and I brought Rev3. I made shakes for him. I let him try the bars that we had at the time. And he loved USANA, and he was so on board that when he had classes, big events, when kids were going for the next level, the next color belt, there would be all these parents, all these kids. And on the bottom left, you'll see I'm talking about a brief introduction of USANA and how I have a booth in the other room. And I've also had a booth in front of the business. And I talked about how I have samples and how I have things, supplements to help kids and teenagers. And what set that up was this guy, Dean. He gave a great testimonial. He gave it legitimacy, and that really helped people notice me and my booth. And then they came over, and I was real busy. I sold products, collected emails, and it's been a great relationship. And what I would say is, if you don't have anybody yet in your warm market or friends of friends that know any business owners, you can go in it cold. So meaning you have your tools, your business card, information about USANA, and walk through the front door. And when you do that, you'll be busy every week. And what I found with businesses, you got to get to the person in charge. If you can't get the owner, get like the next level down. Just say, hey, can I talk to the person in charge? And you really only have 2 minutes. And I would say something like, I'm with one of the top nutritional companies in the world. We help chiropractors or physical therapists or doctors, whoever it is office you're in, we help them earn another stream of income. Do you have a couple of minutes that I can just drop off some information? And then I would try to get their business card and their email. And of course, I would get rejections. You get a lot of rejections, but it only takes a couple of businesses where they're on board. And getting back to this a Taekwondo dojo, he had a database of all his members, and once a month he would fire out information on USANA products. I mean, your business can change in a hurry. So just a disclaimer, street signs, I'm not doing this now, but I wanted to put it up there because it was something that worked so well for me when I lived in Ohio and Florida. It's not something you can do everywhere. Like in the community I live in now in Los Angeles, we can't put it up. But I know there's probably some people watching that they could do this. And this is something that my upline tried. It was working. I tried it. I would put up these weight loss guaranteed signs. And then I had like, I would put up about 25 in different parts of town. And to my surprise, I would have about 30 or so phone calls. Not every one of them left a message. The way I had it set up like a voicemail system where there would be a message. So they'd call in, they'd hear a 30-second message, and then it would instruct them to leave a message, and someone, a specialist will get back to them. And so I'd probably have half the people leave a message. I get like, I don't know, 15, 20 leads. I remember over a course of 3 to 4 months, I sold over $1,500 worth of weight loss products. So when you start generating some checks from USANA, then you can start getting into some marketing opportunities. I think it was like $200 or something to get, I forget how many signs, could have been like 150. I don't quite remember, but it was an excellent way to collect leads and emails. So if you can do it in your area, I would recommend trying it. Now, I touched on this, the national exposure. USANA has gone through great lengths to set us up with opportunities in the mainstream United States. And I really leverage Dr. Oz and athletes, the WTA, everything, because it's an even easier conversation when you're talking to people. I've had actually people approach me saying, I saw USANA on the Dr. Oz show, and I see that you're doing USANA because you're Facebook. And I've had people come in and purchase 3 business centers just because of these relationships. So things are much different than when I started in 2004. It's just, there's easier conversations, more exposure. And if you're not utilizing the relationship with Dr. Oz or the athletes, I suggest you do so right away when you're talking to referrals or your warm market, or if you're going to businesses. It's incredible. The next slide. Because of this national exposure, people are looking for local distributors. And sometimes every once in a while I get a call. And one of the things I've done is spend time going to each free listing and putting USANA Independent Associate or USANA Independent Distributor, my phone number, and my USANA website. And I just listed a bunch here on this slide, and you can go in your own time and you can list your information. I'm not saying that your phone will ring every day, but your phone will ring, and that's part of because of what USANA has set up for us. People are looking for USANA. We're $1 billion company now. We're getting huge, and it's becoming more and more of a household name. We talk about tools. These are the 2 big tools I'm using right now. The customer catalog. So when I have my USANA shirt on and I go and deliver products to my customers, I give them a customer catalog, the latest, so they could see what other products. And sometimes I give them more than one so they can hand them out. And that's how I can gain a referral. But the True Health Assessment, man, I don't know how many of you utilize that. It is so awesome. I love the True Health Assessment because now the script can even change. I can say, hey, Joe, you ever, how are things going? And we're talking about, all of a sudden we're talking about health. Health is like a topic like the weather. I said, my company came out with the coolest tool to evaluate your health. It'll give you a score on your top health risks. It'll talk about lifestyle changes, and it'll also talk a little bit about products that we have that will help you. And then you have 15 minutes to go through it. Like, what's your total health score? And I'll tell them I'll tell them my risk score, and I'll know when they go through it because I get an email, and I've gotten hundreds of those emails. I utilize it all the time. Anywhere I go, I just hand out the health assessment. It's been awesome. And I've been talking about emails because in my last slide, I do email marketing. It's one of my most valuable tools. I listed some of the companies you can use. I've been using Aweber and iContact for years, but it's a great way to follow up. See, in the beginning, when I just had my warm market list, I could write individual emails to each person, but when it gets into the thousands, well, you need like a professional system to put these emails in. And USANA has given us great content where we like great promotions, great content from the blog. Being a finance background, I didn't know how to write emails. And one of the things I did was I went on podcasts. I'm not loyal to any one podcast, but I would just type in email marketing, and I would listen to what kind of subject heading should you put on when you're selling products. What should your email contain? And, I learned that part of it is going to be something of value, like the top 5 things you should eat to lose weight, or how do you take how should you take supplements? And then within there, you put like a promotion. And USANA's been great. I mean, if you've noticed, there's been awesome promotions. Like we just had one, buy 2 Nutrimeal, get 1 free. During Christmas time, it was buy 2 Surge packs, get 1 for free. There was buy 2 digestive enzymes, 1 for free. I remember there was get a My Smart Shake optimizer for free. So I would put that in the email, and it's a great way to convert leads to customers, and I'm very consistent with it. I send it out once a week, and like I said, the content, USANA sends us great content. If you're not on the USANA's email list, you should get on it, because we just got something called intermittent fasting, just like information like that, or how do omega-3s benefit you, or why does a daily vitamin benefit you? Like that's information you can pass along to your lead. So, and another thing about email marketing is that you can segment people. So I've got a list where I have team members who maybe they don't order anymore, or I have a list of people that are just interested in weight management products, or I have a list of people that are just interested in athletics. So you can segment all these groups after a while, and then you can tailor the message to that group to bring them back on board to order products again, or you never know where it's going to go. But yeah, I mean, email marketing is something that I've been doing from the beginning, and it's such an incredible benefit to your business. So, I've kind of gone through a lot of things here, and thanks for joining me tonight. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to help you out in any way. You could just email me at johng@usana.com. So anyway, have a great week. I hope you benefited from this information, and I'll see you guys at convention. Take care. Bye.